Hello everybody, this is Kiana Mayfield from LibraLunaCenter.com and welcome to your weekly forecast for the week of May 8th through the 14th, 2017. There is a full moon this week in Scorpio, and I feel like this is what we've all been waiting for, right? The big exhale after this very, very long period of inhalation throughout all of 2017, it feels like, right? And so from Monday, which is today when I'm recording this, and throughout last weekend, the moon was in Libra, going over Jupiter retrograde in Libra and opposing Venus, which just came out of retrograde April 15th and just went back into Aries and is slowly coming to the point where it will come out of shadow, right? So this last weekend and today, Monday, before the full moon, which will be on Wednesday, May 10th, right? As the moon is in Libra, it is about finding balance and peace within ourselves. We've been through a lot of turmoil. We've been through a lot of chaos. We've been through a lot of transformation, inner and outer, right? Things that have left field. That completely sidetracked us, that completely turned us into another direction, into a new direction, right? The pendulum has constantly been swinging to and fro, right? It's like, when is it going to stay still so that we can find what the answer will be? What will the final answer be, right? Where is the clarity? What will the final judgment be? Libra rules the legal process. It rules judges and lawyers and truth, justice, right? And so these past few months has constantly been an answer of searching and looking for the truth and waiting for the answer and feeling like nothing's really going your way. Nothing's really going the way you wanted it to go, and you don't know where the pendulum will stop. It's kind of just been a feeling of swimming at sea, right? As the South Node was in Pisces throughout this entire cycle. And now finally, Tuesday, May 9th, the North Node finally moves into Leo, and the next year and a half will be about rediscovering the child within us all, rediscovering the light within us all, rediscovering who we innately are as human beings put on this planet. What is our purpose in life? What are we here to create? What are we here to do? What are we here to be passionate about? What calls us by our name, right? And it leads us to true joy and authenticity within the core of our beings, right? We cannot hide in the dark anymore. And the full moon in Scorpio on Wednesday, the next day, after the North Moon's in the Leo, very next day, the full moon will be occurring in Scorpio, 20 degrees. And it will be squaring the nodes. So, as we are coming into this period of opening up our heart centers, of reawakening the God and goddesses within us all, and stepping into our true, authentic power, and how we can manifest the life of our dreams, right? This full moon in Scorpio is about the release of suffering. It is about the end of fear. right? Scorpio is about death, right? But not death as in utter destruction. The destruction is only in what is false. It is only in what is not true and authentic and raw within you, right? It is the death of fear and allowing your being to merge with your true passion. Scorpio is about desire. It is about truth. It is about honoring where your life force is calling you to commit to, right? Scorpio is about the commitment, but it's not about the commitment to the brick and mortar, the commitment to the contract, the legal agreement, the superficial exchange, right? That was put forth in Libra, right? You have the contract, you have the agreement there, but where is the bonding? Where is the loyalty? Where is the true connection, the intimacy that we all crave, right? The full moon in Scorpio is helping us to get rid of everything that has prevented this connection that we're all craving deep in the core of our hearts all this time. What has prevented the connection? And we're discovering that what has prevented us from connecting to each other, to ourselves, to what we truly desire to create, our purpose in life, our divine center, is our fear and our belief that we need to suffer. And it's tricky because most of us don't believe that we would intentionally keep ourselves in suffering, that given the chance, we would automatically, by nature, choose the light over the darkness. But it has been demonstrated throughout our history that this is not the case, right? When human beings live in darkness for so long, when they have grown accustomed to living in an environment that is constantly malnourishing them, when they have grown accustomed to sabotage and fear and scarcity, they cling to what it is that they know when given the chance to break free from it, right? They choose the chain because it offers security. Better the devil you know than the one you don't, right? That is the shadow of Scorpio, is choosing fear when the light is right in front of you. And this full moon in Scorpio, as this is happening, it will be in sextile to its ruling planet Pluto in Capricorn, and as the sun in Taurus is in trine to Pluto as well, and Mercury will also be conjuncting Uranus exactly in Aries as it trines over to Saturn. And so this is making a grand fire trine in the sky as this full moon in Scorpio is occurring. And as this full moon is in a positive aspect to its ruling planet Pluto, adding the extra emphasis of death and rebirth and the purge and the need to dig deep below the surface because there's still stuff you don't know down there, right? That is why it is called the shadow, because the shadow is what's kept in the dark. It's what's kept contained. It's what's kept suppressed underneath all of the other stuff. right? It is what you will not admit to yourself. It is the truth. And Scorpio is revealing the truth, right? For good or for ill. And a lot of this has to do with relationships. A lot of this has to do with our issues with connection, our issues with intimacy. You know, the intimacies we experience in our relationships, in our outer lives, is a direct reflection of the intimacy within ourselves, right? If we're not connected to ourselves, if we don't know who we are, if we are kept, if a part of ourselves is kept in the dark, away from our conscious minds, right? Away from our awareness, then this will be a constant theme that plays out, that ends up sabotaging the connections we experience in the outside world, right? And as the North Node moves into Leo and this full moon in Scorpio occurs, adding the push, adding the need to exhale, to release, to experience profound connection and intimacy, to rid ourselves of the unnecessary suffering that we have indulged in for most of our lives. It is about having the courage to honor the child within us. It is about having the courage to integrate the shadow, integrate the truth that we keep hidden and suppressed into our conscious awareness, into our life, right? Scorpio isn't just about destruction. It is the alchemist. It is the healer. It is the one who destroys the base elements to get to the core, to get to the truth, to get to the quintessence, the spiritual nature, the spiritual source and the character of what it desires, right? It only destroys what is false. It only destroys the darkness. It gets to the bottom, the very bottom. It scrapes the bottom of the barrel, the bottom of your psyche, in order to destroy what is not needed, what no longer serves, what can be transformed and transmuted into light. Scorpio is about the discovery of the phoenix. Is about the rising of the phoenix. And the phoenix isn't just some mythological firebird that appears out of nowhere, right? It is something that is innately within us all. It is about the courage to be annihilated, to have everything torn apart in order to get to the very core of your spiritual nature. Because that is the only thing that will set you free from the darkness that Scorpio feels like it is trapped in. And in order to receive the intimacy that we all crave, we have to have the courage to show up in this way. We have to have the courage to let it all hang out, right? The sun is in Taurus, so it's about life and death. What is the core light and life that we are bringing to the table? And what can be discarded? What can be sacrificed, what can be put to rest within us and within our connections, within the structures of our minds, right? Our psyches that is keeping us oppressed. And this is the peace offering. You wouldn't think that Scorpio would be about peace. It's about truth, and it's about having the courage to show up as you are, so that two people or more, or it doesn't even have to be a person. It can be showing up with yourself to this project that you're giving your life force to, right? You are deciding to show up fully as you are, in truth and in authentic alignment with your core desires, what you want to bring to this world. Putting aside all of the fears that you will be rejected, you will be misunderstood, you will be abandoned, you will be betrayed, you will be everything that makes you feel like you cannot open up all the way. You cannot be true to yourself and to other people around you, is when you're constantly in this tight mode of insecurity, of isolation, right? When you keep yourself intentionally in the dark, that's when things get a little weird, right? Things get a little sad. And the full moon in Scorpio is asking us to hold space for each other, asking us to give honor to the people around you who give honor to you in your highest integrity, who give honor to the flawed and imperfected human being that you are. The shadow is not bad. The shadow is only what is repressed within us all, what is oppressed, what is kept in the dark. And you want to surround yourself with people who truly see you, who you feel like connect with you on the deepest level of your heart and soul, who you feel truly get you on a level that you can't really describe, and that doesn't make logical sense, because Scorpio doesn't make logical sense. It is about the primal connection, and it is about the commitment to show up raw and real and honest and authentic, and allowing healing to take place in every area of your life where you have refused to show up, where you have deserted yourself. And so the full moon is asking us to honor who we truly are and the people who support the quintessence within us all. And so the next day, from Thursday through Friday, we have Mars in Gemini in an exact square to Neptune in Pisces, and building up to a trine with Jupiter in Libra. And as this happens, the moon will be in Sagittarius, crossing over Mars. It will be in opposition to Mars, and the moon in Sagittarius is adding the extra emphasis of the need to explore, the need to make a leap of faith, right? Because it is a Jupiter-ruled sign. And as Mars is squaring Neptune and trining Pluto, this is asking us to take a risk, to take a chance on some new story, some new journey that we're being pulled, we're being called to take, right? Our actions are being motivated by something higher, by some spiritual force that we cannot understand logically, but we feel we must take steps towards, right? But this is about a controlled risk. This is about giving something a chance, but not coming from a place of unconsciousness, not coming from a drunken state, right? You want to be sober, you want to be fully conscious and aware of what you're doing, and you want to come with complete authenticity, with complete genuinity, right? You want to be genuine, you want to be authentic, you want to be true. Because Neptune can sway left or right, right? It can be deluded and overly, optimistic in a sense that it is fantastical, right? It can be dreamy to the point where, nothing is able to manifest, right? Or it can be highly spiritual, it can be highly creative, it can be highly imaginative. It can bring magic to your life, right? And from Thursday through Friday, we will be called, and it will build up throughout the week. We'll have this urge to take a risk, to take a chance on something. We'll be called to take this sort of action in our life that is a completely new story, right? There is luck involved here, as Jupiter's involved, and the moon will be in Sagittarius, which is emphasizing the Jupiterian aspect of it, to expand in your life, to grow, to experience something completely new. But at the same time, Jupiter is retrograde, so it can be returning to things that you thought were previously restrictive or unavailable. And recognizing that you can make anything you want happen. You can make your dreams come true, right? Especially with Mars squaring Neptune, this is about believing in magic again. And with the North Node in Leo, it's about honoring the child within us and allowing that to dictate our decisions, not our logical minds with the South Node in Aquarius, not our sense of isolation, not our sense of feeling like misfits, feeling like we won't be understood, we won't be accepted. We will always be the oddball out. We will always be on the sidelines. We will always play the side character in our own story, right? It is not about being detached from anything. It's not about rationalizing anything. It's not about having a scientific formula for how things will play out. It is about living from your heart. And as you live from your heart, the people that are meant to be in your life will be attracted to you. The people that are your soul tribe, that nurture this fire, this light that lives at the center of your heart, that is bursting to come out and to shine its light and its radiance and demonstrate its purpose for why it was incarnated on this planet to the rest of the world. As it does that, as it opens itself up to that, as it has the courage to move through the darkness and the suffering it has experienced for so long, and to come out on the other side in the light, despite all of the fear and this constant psychological pull towards the darkness, you're still having the courage to roar despite all of that. You're still having the courage to be yourself despite all of that, right? And the people that nurture that fire within you, that spark, that light, are the ones who are your soul tribe. They are the ones you must honor as you honor yourself. The ones who can see you bare, naked, and raw as you truly are, right? And you have to have the belief that things can come together. You have to believe in yourself before it will unfold in front of you. But this is the step towards that direction. It is the step towards the new story. And it is the jumping off of the cliff. And so from Thursday through Friday, you will be receiving these urges to take some risk, some chance, some action in your life. And as long as you come from a pure and centered place, which was the North Node in Virgo story, right? If you have been doing that work on yourself, if you have been purging the parts of yourself that are content with living in the darkness, are content with staying in the dream world, right? As long as you are coming from a conscious and genuine and authentic and measured and aware place, luck is on your side, right? You can make anything happen that you want to happen. And so over the weekend, from May 13th through the 14th, the moon will go over Saturn before entering Capricorn, and it will square Venus in Aries as it is getting ready slowly to come out of shadow and oppose Jupiter. And as this happens, Mercury will also be moving, finally, at long last, coming off of Uranus and moving towards the North Node, or making a trine to the North Node. So, this is clarity of purpose. This is clarity of our destiny. This is revealing who and what aligns with our heart, having the conversations, having the information needed to know what does and does not inspire you, what does and does not awaken the flame within you, what does and does not feed the child within your heart that is waiting to shine and radiate its light to the world, right? This is the Mercury on Uranus as from Thursday to Friday, I forgot to mention this, Uranus actually moves a degree. So this is a next step in the evolution of ourselves, right? This is the next step in the upgrade of our identities. And as Mercury is on this aspect in trine to the North Node in Leo, this is what inspires you, what aligns with your heart, and what do you need to do in order to bring more and more of the pieces together. So with the moon in Capricorn, squaring over to Venus. This is preparing ourselves emotionally with the maturity level and the wisdom we've gathered over the past few months with the Venus retrograde and the Mercury retrograde. It is integrating this seed of wisdom that we've acquired through all of this chaos and turmoil and changes of direction, right? The pendulum is finally coming to a halt and resting and revealing the answer. And the moon in Capricorn, squaring Venus, is about having the wisdom and the maturity to confront the relationships in our life, the connections, the projects, and the truths that will be culminating over the next week as Venus prepares to come out of shadow and Mercury prepares to come out of shadow from the 19th through the 20th of May. You can think of this week as the portal that we are all entering into. We got a snapshot of the portal the past few weeks, but now we are completely entering the portal. And next week will be about the launch off, right, as the sun enters Gemini. But for now, with the weekend, with the moon in Capricorn, this is the maturity to show up as ourselves in our relationships, and the maturity to appreciate what we've cultivated, what we have, the bonds that we've made in our lifetime, right? What means something to us? What is going to get us on the right path? What do we need to nurture? What do we need to bring wisdom towards, and honor and integrity? Who are the people that honor us? And who do we need to honor? And those who do not align with the story, those who do not align with the greater destiny of your life, it is about the wisdom and the maturity to let these connections go, the situations go, the old, outdated, traditional environments that have led to this oppression, this encasement of suffering. Because the full moon in Scorpio is exhaling. It's the final exhale, right? It is about the release of this need to stay in suffering, in the darkness, and what environments, what connections are leading you to stay in that darkness, and what do you need to let go of maturely and honestly and with integrity, because they are no longer supporting you, because they are no longer building anything of value in your life. And you will know the difference, because one will lead to needing validation. One path will lead to needing other people's approval. One will lead to needing to feel accepted in some way. But the need to feel accepted is the prison. It is the outdated way of staying in suffering. The new way, the way of appreciation, the way of honor and integrity, is towards those connections, those environments, those projects that awaken the life force within you, that honor who you truly are as a spiritual being in your heart, right? That honor the child within you that knows no bounds, no limitations, but strives constantly to demonstrate itself to the world in all its divine glory. That is the God or goddess within us all. Who honors that and who doesn't? What honors that and what doesn't? What project allows that to culminate and what doesn't? What career allows that to fruition and bloom and what doesn't? And you will need to make the honest assessment in your life of whether you are choosing the path of validation, or the path of love. With this full moon in Scorpio, just know that the more you show up for yourself and for the other people who are honoring the deepest, rawest core part of yourself, the more fulfillment you will get out of this North Node in Leo story, because you cannot continue to stay in the darkness forever. You cannot continue to hide from yourself forever. You have to be brave, have the integrity to show up for yourself and those people who nurture who you truly are, and to hold the space for others to do the same, because that is the true path to intimacy. It is not through contracts, negotiations, or even sex, right? Because we think sex equals intimacy, but the human species has shown that there are plenty of ways to hide from yourself and to close yourself off. And sex is a way to mask that, right? It is a way to mask true intimacy, which is non-physical, which is non-tangible, which is the true bonding of two or more human souls in true communion and connection and understanding. One projects the self onto the other, and the other side sees the other in its fullest capacity and its fullest potential, and who they truly are behind all of the other stuff that we like to project onto one another because it makes us feel safe. So it's a pretty deep week, so stay safe throughout it all. And the truth will slowly start to unravel itself over the next few weeks, especially next week as Venus comes out of shadow and Mercury comes out of shadow. It's like, you know, the catapult off the cliff, right? Because now you have all the information. You have what's been hiding in the darkness all this time and what is ready to live in the light. So have a nice week, and I will be back to discuss Venus and Mercury coming out of shadow as it's opposing Jupiter, and yep, that's it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all next week.